Have you ever felt like life is a constant competition? That you're always measuring yourself against someone else's progress, their achievements, their recognition? What if I told you that the real path to success has nothing to do with outpacing others and everything to do with mastering yourself? If you're ready to rise above comparison and discover how to truly win without competing, stay with me until the end. And before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more powerful insights that will help you grow and transform.
1. Why true success isn't a race. Society teaches us to chase faster, climb higher, and constantly look over our shoulder at who's catching up. From a young age, we are conditioned to compare ourselves with classmates, co-workers, neighbors, and even strangers on social media. But success isn't a sprint. It's not even a marathon. It's your personal journey, unfolding at your own pace. When you view life as a race, you'll always feel behind. Someone will always appear richer, smarter, or more accomplished. The truth is, real success is not about winning against others. It's about living in alignment with your highest potential. This means waking up every day knowing that your path is uniquely yours and that no amount of comparison will ever make you more fulfilled. Imagine running on a track where no one else exists. The only competitor is yesterday's version of yourself. That shift in perspective allows you to focus on growth rather than comparison. Because the moment you stop racing others, you free your energy to actually build something lasting. Instead of wasting your thoughts on envy or insecurity, you redirect them into your craft, your habits, and your values. Suddenly, life stops feeling like a constant competition and starts feeling like a meaningful creation. You're no longer measuring how far ahead or behind you are. You're measuring how much closer you are to the person you want to become. When people treat success as a race, they often sacrifice well-being for speed. They chase promotions, accolades, or material possessions without stopping to ask if these things truly matter to them. They wear exhaustion like a badge of honor and call it progress, when in reality they're drifting further away from what brings genuine peace. But when you refuse to see success as a race, you reclaim balance. You no longer feel guilty for moving slower, taking detours, or prioritizing rest. Instead, you see these moments as essential to building a life that is sustainable, resilient, and joyful. Think about it. What happens when a runner wins a race? The victory is fleeting. They celebrate, but soon they must prepare for the next competition. The hunger never ends. Similarly, those who see life only as a race become trapped in an endless cycle of proving themselves. Yet true success isn't something you constantly have to re-earn. It's a state of being. It's knowing that even if the world doesn't applaud you, you are proud of who you are becoming. The peace of mind that comes from this realization is far more enduring than any temporary recognition. That's why those who step off the racetrack and walk their own path are often the happiest, even if the world doesn't understand their pace.
2. Building mastery in your craft. Instead of obsessing over how fast others are moving, channel that energy into building mastery. Mastery is slow, deliberate, and deeply personal. It's waking up every day with the intention to refine your skills, strengthen your mindset, and sharpen your character. The journey of mastery is not glamorous. It's repetitive, patient, and often invisible to others. But this is where greatness is born. Mastery is less about chasing perfection and more about committing to improvement. It's saying, I may not be the best yet, but I will keep showing up, keep practicing, and keep learning until growth becomes second nature. The irony is that those who focus on mastery naturally surpass those who only chase recognition. While others burn out trying to win, you keep growing in silence. Think of the difference between someone who memorizes answers for a test versus someone who actually understands the material. The first may shine briefly, but quickly fades when the context changes. The second thrives in every situation because their foundation is solid. Mastery is that foundation. It doesn't crumble under pressure because it is built on consistent effort rather than fleeting applause. Over time, mastery makes you unstoppable, not because you defeated others, but because you rose above competition itself. The master doesn't worry about being the fastest, richest, or most visible. They worry about depth, about how deeply they understand their craft, how deeply they embody their principles, and how deeply they can serve through their abilities. True masters create from a place of abundance rather than fear. They aren't rushed by the clock or distracted by others' progress because they know that real power lies in patience. Mastery isn't about speed, it's about sustainability. Another powerful truth about mastery is that it creates freedom. When you master something, you no longer need to prove yourself constantly. Your work speaks for you. Opportunities naturally flow your way because people trust the consistency behind your effort. Even more importantly, mastery frees you from insecurity. You no longer feel the need to shout about your achievements because you know the depth of your competence. This inner confidence becomes unshakable, and ironically, it's what draws true respect from others. Not the pursuit of recognition, but the quiet evidence of excellence.
3. Aligning actions with your values. True fulfillment doesn't come from trophies, applause, or rankings. It comes from living in alignment with your values. When your daily actions reflect what truly matters to you, integrity, growth, creativity, contribution, you no longer crave validation. Instead, you feel grounded, steady, and whole. The people who live with the greatest sense of peace are not the ones who have the most recognition, but the ones who can look in the mirror each night and know they lived in accordance with their principles. That alignment is the real source of confidence because it's not borrowed from others, it's built from within. Ask yourself, what do I value most? And then, are my choices reflecting that? If not, adjust. Because when your values guide your path, even small victories feel like massive wins. Imagine someone who values creativity, yet spends their days chasing money in a job that stifles them. No matter how much money they make, they will feel empty. On the other hand, someone who values contribution and spends their time helping others, even in small ways, feels fulfilled, even without grand recognition. Values give meaning to every step of the journey, regardless of how successful it appears from the outside. When you live out of alignment with your values, stress and dissatisfaction creep in. You may appear successful, but inside you feel restless, anxious, or disconnected. That's because values are the compass of the soul. When ignored, they create inner conflict. Alignment restores harmony. It allows you to make decisions that may not please everyone, but bring you peace. You stop asking, "What will people think of me?" and start asking, "Does this align with who I truly am?" That shift is liberating. It makes life simpler because your values become the filter through which every choice is made. Living by your values also builds resilience. When challenges arise, values give you strength to endure. If you value integrity, you won't compromise, even under pressure. If you value growth, failure becomes a lesson instead of a setback. If you value contribution, hardships become opportunities to serve. In this way, values protect you from losing yourself in difficult times. They remind you of why you started and what truly matters. And perhaps the most powerful outcome is this: when your life aligns with your values, you no longer need external approval to feel successful. You carry a quiet certainty that no recognition can equal. The certainty of living truthfully, with integrity and purpose.
4. Staying consistent in your efforts. Consistency is the hidden superpower that most overlook. Everyone can get motivated for a week. Few can remain disciplined for a year, and fewer still for a lifetime. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum compounds into mastery. It's not the grand gestures or the one-off bursts of energy that create transformation. It's the small, steady, almost invisible actions repeated faithfully over time. When you show up daily, even when you don't feel like it, you are laying bricks for a foundation that will outlast moods, seasons, and circumstances. Think of it this way. If you just improved 1% every day, within a year you'd be unrecognizable, not because you rushed ahead of others, but because you stayed true to steady, relentless progress. This is the essence of the compounding effect. Small actions, seemingly insignificant at the time, eventually grow into unstoppable force. It is not about beating others or measuring yourself against external standards. It is about the quiet accumulation of effort, the type of effort that doesn't fade when the spotlight is gone. Consistency beats competition every single time. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, did not wake up every day with the luxury of boundless motivation. He was an emperor, weighed down by war, betrayal, illness, and political turmoil. Yet what made him remarkable was not bursts of greatness, but the relentless decision to return each day to principle, duty, and reflection. Seneca emphasized the same when he wrote that life is long enough if lived wisely. To live wisely is to live steadily, to apply lessons daily, and to make progress quietly but surely. The modern world is addicted to instant gratification, where quick results and shortcuts are glorified. But consistency is the antidote. It teaches patience, it teaches humility, and it teaches respect for the process. If you run to the gym for a week and expect results, disappointment will follow. But if you run for a year, the transformation is undeniable. If you meditate once, your mind will not be quieted. But if you meditate daily, year after year, your soul will become a fortress of calm. Greatness is not born in a single decision, but in the repetition of that decision until it becomes inseparable from who you are. Consistency also protects you from the volatility of emotion. Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes with mood, weather, and circumstance. Discipline, rooted in consistency, however, is stable. It allows you to keep walking forward even when you don't feel like it. That stability becomes your identity. You stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this today?" and instead affirm, "This is simply what I do." In this way, effort ceases to be optional. It becomes a way of life. To be consistent is to understand that excellence is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires endurance. It requires the ability to continue even when progress seems invisible. For long stretches, it will feel as if nothing is changing, but beneath the surface, everything is transforming. Just as a seed requires time in the soil before breaking into light, so too do your efforts require time before they bear fruit. Consistency is the faith that keeps you sowing even when the harvest has not yet come.
5. Letting your results speak for you. You don't need to shout your progress. You don't need to prove your worth through arguments or constant updates. Let your results speak. When you remain focused, aligned, and consistent, your life itself becomes undeniable evidence of your growth. True achievement is quiet, and true mastery rarely requires explanation. The tree does not announce its shade, nor the river its depth. Likewise, your discipline, resilience, and transformation do not need a trumpet. They radiate naturally. Silence carries power. Instead of chasing applause, let your results create impact. The people around you will notice. And even if they don't, your life will still reflect the strength and discipline you've built. Recognition is fleeting, but character endures. By detaching yourself from the need to be seen, you conserve energy that others waste in self-promotion. That energy can then be invested into further growth, further refinement, and deeper mastery. In time, your results will stand as monuments, stronger and louder than any words you could ever speak. This principle aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. Epictetus warned against performing virtue for the sake of appearance. Virtue, he taught, is its own reward. To live with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline is enough, regardless of external recognition. When you live this way, the results naturally shine through your actions without needing embellishment. Your decisions, your consistency, your conduct in the world, they are the testimony of your growth. Those who seek to boast of progress betray their insecurity, but those who remain silent embody true strength. Consider the example of a craftsman. He does not stand in the market each day declaring himself skilled. Instead, he simply creates, day after day, year after year. Over time, his work speaks for itself. People come to him not because he asked them to admire him, but because the quality of his craft became undeniable. This is the same principle with personal growth, discipline, or virtue. Your life, your habits, your presence in the world, they become the silent proof of who you are. There is also freedom in letting results speak for you. When you no longer chase external validation, you become unshakable. Critics cannot discourage you, nor can praise inflate you. You remain centered, anchored in the process rather than the opinions surrounding it. This detachment allows you to keep walking forward without distraction. You understand that applause is temporary, but transformation is permanent. The discipline you practice, the inner strength you cultivate, these cannot be taken away by silence or ignorance. Ultimately, letting your results speak for you is about living with quiet confidence. It is the confidence of knowing that your progress is real, even if unseen. It is the strength of the oak that grows in silence, rooted deeply, unbothered by whether others recognize its growth. Life does not require you to prove your worth. It requires you to live it. And when you do, the results will speak louder than any words ever could.
So remember this, true success isn't about running someone else's race. It's about mastering your craft, aligning with your values, staying consistent, and letting your results speak louder than words. The art of winning without competing lies in rising above comparison and fully embracing your own journey. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe because your growth journey deserves constant fuel. And now, I'll leave you with this question. Will you spend your energy chasing others, or will you use it to build the best version of yourself?